May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? The Green Bay Packers suck. Bear freaking down. What's going on? I'm Dan Levy, Bears latest, Fan Art Sports. Welcome to the program, as they say. We got a big show lined up for you. Take a look at this one. Bears are linked to some last-minute possible trade rumors. They are listening to this show. Ryan Poles, thank you for being a follower. Thank you for listening to what we're doing here. We got a lot to unpack with you. First and foremost, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment. Get into it with me on the comment section. We're talking all things Chicago Bears on this channel. And it's coming through Sports Illustrated. This one's an SI one. And it sounds like we're not the only ones saying the Bears need help on defense. Oh my God, have we been saying that every day for this entire offseason, ever since they started bulking up the offense, and bulking up we've liked. We've enjoyed a big offensive boost. But it looks like the Bears are not just going to be busy right now, but again, with Ryan Poles inking that new deal, I said in the last episode, do not get stagnant, Ryan Poles. Do not be a guy that signs his long-term deal to 2029 and just sits on the shoulders of Ben Johnson, hoping that everything turns out right. The Bears still have holes that need to be addressed, and you could fix this. This is something that you could fix. This is something that you could do right now to ensure that the Bears go from whatever last season was to wherever the Detroit Lions got to. Remember how we were all saying the last couple of years, it's the Lions' years? Yeah, that hurt, by the way. It hurt to say it out loud. It hurt to feel it, even though we're like, oh, we'll root for Detroit. No more! I want to see Chicago. I want to see everybody going, it's the Bears season. And GM Ryan Poles, you got extended, and it looks like you are still going to work. And as a Bears fan, thank you. You are being linked to a lot of it. Bleacher Report's Matt Holder is even saying the Bears should explore one more trade, this time for another edge rusher, like we've all been saying. Helping out Montez Sweat and the new free agent addition, Dayo Odeyingbo. Last year, the Bears took a chance on Darrell Taylor, and that did not pay off too well. Taylor was let go after recording just 3 sacks in 2024, and that's okay. We give you the mulligan on that one. Even with the additions of Odeyingbo and defensive tackle Grady Jarrett, there's still concerns about that pass rush. There are still concerns. Second-year player Austin Booker does have upside, but banking on a breakout year from him alone is risky, especially in a division with quarterbacks who can punish you if you don't bring the pressure. Remember, the NFC North, loaded with talent. Loaded with quarterbacks. J.J. McCarthy, we're not really sure what he can do, but if they can take Sam Darnold, and make that guy into almost an MVP quarterback in Minnesota, imagine what they're going to do with J.J. in that system. The Vikings know how to do things, but again, I'm not afraid of them in postseason, but they can do some damage against the Bears. Jordan Love, he could do some things. If he's healthy, that's a scary guy who's got a football and knows how to punish Bears. And we all look towards Detroit. Even though we took the Jenga piece in Ben Johnson, Jared Goff is still going to be scary. There's still going to be some lingering offenses from that. And even though we took Ben Johnson, we took that offensive away, don't expect the Lions to just go away. I'd like to. I'd like to say good riddance. You guys had your shot. Bye-bye. In my mind, I've said goodbye to them. But something tells me that they are still juiced and still loaded to go. And with that, we still have a few veteran pass rushers that are left on the market. Names like Jadeveon Clowney, if he's still healthy. Zadarius Smith. He said he wants to go to Detroit. We'll see. Von Miller, is there anything left in the tank? I wouldn't mind Von Miller. I got chewed up for that one. Everybody took it to me. You can't say Von Miller. He's done. He's done. Is he? Is Von Miller done? I don't think he is. Yes, his best years are behind him. He's nothing like we'll ever see in Denver. But you still got a guy who is still productive. You still got a guy who is doing things in Buffalo. And it's not bad to have a 2-time Super Bowl champ and a veteran like that in a locker room where the defense is right now as raw as it could be. I don't mind him in there. I don't mind him. Matthew Judon, another one that's been rumored forever, all summer long. We need Judon. But guys like Smith still show they contribute, and racking up 9 sacks again last season. That is what we're looking at right now. So here's what we think. One more piece of defense could be the difference between a wild card and a division crown. And if the Bears truly want to be contenders in 2025, the edge is where we need to get to. That isn't even a choice right now. That's not even something that would be nice. It's not even a luxury right now. This is something that needs to happen. Needs to happen. I'm not sure what you guys got to give up to do it. I'm not sure what sacrifices that Ryan Poles is probably already saying no to. And I bet people are asking for the moon and the stars. But you got to get something to complement this offense. You did a yeoman's job on this offense. And the Bears fandom, the kingdom that is us, bear down. We want to see those club dub days again, and we know it's going to be riding on the backs of the offense. But in order to do it, you got to keep that defense. Chicago Bears are defense. In fact, we all thought that when this was all going to go down, that the defense would still be kept up, and we get it. We get it. There's certain things that need to be made. Sacrifices are done. You guys went all in on the offense. You went all in on Caleb Williams. Thank you. Ryan Poles, thank you. If this is going to be your last shot, if you blow this whole thing, I'm good with it. I'm just glad I don't have to say the Bears need to fix the offensive line, and this is a place where quarterbacks go to die. So if the one thing you give Chicago Bears is that we will now be known as an offensive team and a place where quarterbacks go to flourish, I consider that a win for you. There's a lot of things that could be done in this town. We haven't seen the Bears win one. They are the last team that hasn't won one in almost 40 years. It's 40 years, 85, 2025, 40 years since those guys were hoisting up that trophy way back in 85. And I'm talking about most of those guys aren't even around anymore. But the Bulls have won it since. You had the White Sox, you had the Cubs, you had the Blackhawks. The Cubs busted a curse since the last time the Bears have won it. So, again, at least put us in that conversation. Do what you got to do. Make some moves right now. The clock is ticking, Ryan Poles. You did go the offense, but your job isn't done. You have until 2029, but if this team doesn't shape up by this year, you gone. You heard it here first. Moving on. Brian Erlacer. He speaks. The former linebacker, the former middle linebacker, the monster that was Brian Erlacer. And I've said it before, I was privileged enough to cover the Chicago Bears from about 2003 till 2013, which was most of Brian Erlacher's career. I saw him off the field. I saw him on the field. I even saw him play a charity game with Michael Jordan, which is one of the coolest memories I'll ever have as a person in Chicago. I live in Chicago. I'm from here. But there was a charity game that I saw that involved Michael Jordan, Brian Erlacher, Juwan Howard, and some local softball all-stars that are around Chicago. Chicago has a pretty awesome softball league that goes on. But they were playing in Cabrini Green, and it was one of the coolest things I ever saw. And it was just before training camp, and Erlacher and Jordan was there. And it was one of the most competitive softball games I've ever seen from guys who I didn't think took baseball seriously. And they did, and Jordan came out, put on a show, a cigar in the mouth, Erlacher walking around high-fiving, backwards hats, smashing home runs. It was amazing. Brian Erlacher, I have no issues with whatever he does or says these days. I have that much respect for him. I have that much just pure adoration for Brian Erlacher. I think what he did in this town was awesome. I was not happy with the way it ended. I know once Levy left, there wasn't room for number 54 at the table. I think the Bears could have done better with him. They should have done better by him. And I'm kind of surprised that either the Vikings or the Packers or any other team did not take a chance on Brian. He still had a year to go, and the Bears only offering him maybe less than $1 million for everything that he did and what he could have still done and what that defense could have helped out with. I think that was wrong. However, Erlacher went on the radio out here in Chicago, talked to my peeps, Harris and Rahimi on the score. Hi, Layla. And he said when talking about Caleb Williams that he thinks the expectations for him are sky high. And I agree with him. Not everything I'm going to say about what Erlacher has to say is yes or no. There's going to be a topic in which he talked about that we're going to get to. But as far as what he's saying about Caleb Williams, like everybody else, is that he shared his thoughts about the rookie season. And he said that, well, whether it was questionable play or calling from Shane Waldron or Matt Eberflus, that struggling offensive line, like I told you before, and what Williams was constantly under pressure, he did not do well when it came to those sacks. A lot of you guys have said it in the comments section that, 68 sacks, that was all his fault. That was Caleb's fault. But that offensive line, it is. And I respect Brian Urlacher's thoughts. I don't put it all on Caleb Williams. Again, a rookie. A guy going into his first season, the number one drafted quarterback, a guy who didn't even want to be here, had to play with a paper-thin offensive line that ruined the careers of Mitchell Trubisky, that crushed the career of Justin Fields. He's now going to be lining up for his third team in New York. And New York, by the way, that's where quarterbacks go to die. That's where we see players sputter out. That's where Justin Fields is going to be, and he'll be a backup sooner out of the league in no time, just because of what this offensive line did. But saying that all those sacks last year were on the shoulders of Caleb Williams, I'm not going to say they're not. I'm not going to say a good part of it is. Again, this is a guy who did not have any idea what this next level is. The NFL is a tough, tough way to roll. And a guy who did the things he did and still busted the 3,000 yards passing, which no Bear has ever done in the history of this franchise. Still haven't gotten to 4,000, but in his rookie year, taking 68 sacks, only a few interceptions, only 6 interceptions. And the guy still got sacked that many times. So whether or not that's on him or not, I don't know. Caleb's got a lot of things to worry about. He's got a lot of things to clean up. Extending plays a little bit too long, but if this offensive line can take a step forward and the run game clicks, watch out. Caleb Williams might just turn this team into a legit NFC contender. And again, everybody's talking about that running game. Could the running game actually do something? That's another hole. That's another thing that Ryan Poles should be working on. I'm glad you're talking about getting another pass rusher. But if that running game can't be established, if DeAndre Swift has nothing left in the tank, and we're worrying about Roschon Johnson, if we got to say at some point in the season, I really hope Kyle Benungai can find some yards and find the end zone, we're in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Speaking of trouble, that wasn't where Brian Urlacher stopped when it came to his adoration. He gave compliments to Aaron Rodgers. Also speaking with the same radio station, he said he liked the way Rodgers played, what he stood for, and what he says. And the last part raised the eyebrows that Rodgers has been outspoken on hot button issues. And yeah, you know what? That's okay. Urlacher's got his opinions. Aaron Rodgers, I don't really care what people say when they're not playing football. They're football players. If you take what football players say about the landscape of life and politics and all kinds of stuff, if you're getting your education from football players, well, then I would love to live in the fantasy world you're in. I don't pay attention to athletes. I really don't care what they have to say about social issues. But I do care about what they have to say with players that ran around Soldier Field screaming, "I own you. I always have. I always will." Doing the discount double check. Yes, there is adoration and mutual respect between Brian Urlacher and Aaron Rodgers. They like each other. There's a bromance there. They played well. They liked each other. They respected each other. And again, if you're a guy like Urlacher, never said that before. If you're a guy like Urlacher and you had the kind of teams that he had, and you looked across that field in the same division, and you saw the rivalry that had a pretty darn good defense too, but just had franchise QB after franchise QB, I'd be saying I like the way that guy looks too. You look in your own locker room and you see Rex Grossman sitting there. You look and you see Jake Cutler, the kind of face who just doesn't care about life, probably smelled like deer hunting. You look at that guy and you're like, what is this guy doing? And you look and you see Aaron Rodgers just crushing you. You see Mitchell Trubisky trying to make a difference in the NFL for the Bears. And you look and you see Aaron Rodgers. Of course you're going to be like, I like the way that guy plays better. Of course. Look who you're comparing it to. Justin Fields? Justin Fields? You got to be kidding me. So, yeah, the mutual respect is there. But again, my thoughts, Brian Urlacher, you're amazing. You can do no wrong in my eyes. I'm just thinking that right now, Urlacher is just giving compliments away. But I will say this, Aaron Rodgers, good luck to you next season. We hope you talk just as much trash as you always have. You've already been saying you're making fun of the Bears for being excited about seasons, and we got the QB that we've always wanted. Watch out. We do have a quarterback that we've always wanted. We have the coach that we always wanted. We finally have a team that is being built to take you on. And come week 12 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, I can't wait to see what a guy like you does in Pittsburgh. If you couldn't make it out of New York and you couldn't make it out of the first series of your first year there without tearing a limb off in front of the national audience, and you want to go ahead and you want to try to coexist with Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's the matchup I want to see. I want to see the inner workings of Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers, two heads butting, and I can't wait for you to meet and greet Caleb Williams and his new look Bears. So it's time for you to either put up, and we got to stop with your BS. Good luck to you, man. You're no longer a worry to us here in Chicago. You're in your own place, your own division. We got nothing for you. We'll take care of you in week 12. And even if we don't, who cares? You're out of here in no time anyway. And then you and Erlacer can talk about all the social injustices and issues that you've never had to face in your life. That's going to do it here for Bears Latest Fan Art Sports. I'm Dan Levy. Like, subscribe, comment, follow me at Bass On Air, BASS On Air. Just remember, a few days away from rookies reporting to training camp, and then veterans. And then next week we have our first full practice. And finally, we'll get to talk a lot more than just trade rumors and what we're possibly looking at. But from what I'm seeing right now, Bears have some holes, but I think it can be filled. And just in case you don't remember this, the Swiss cheese is in Green Bay, and the Packers suck. Go Bears. See you later. Bears Latest Fan Art Sports. I'm Dan Levy. Peace.